Games have become much more than simple visual entertainment. There are game titles that captivate our attention through engaging narratives, lush musical scores, non-trivial topics, all taking a special place in our minds for years. They make us wonder, make us think differently of the usual common ways of playing video games, having deep implications and meanings outside of their capsule. Such games are often labeled as thought-provoking, games that raise the bar of standards. One could even call such games art pieces. One of the games that fall into such category is Prey, developed by Arcane. Prey is a sci-fi immersive sim that was released almost 10 years ago in 2017. In contrast with usual sci-fi settings that treat timelines far into the future, Prey took a more contemporary timeline and tried to offer an alternate look at what our day-to-day reality could have been if humanity were to contact an alien species of unknown biology, way of communication, and intent. We as players are put in the epicenter of events that could inevitably lead to human extinction, having just one main goal: saving humanity. We must uncover secrets, conspiracies, and understand how it all got to such critical state, as well as how we can revert what seems to be inevitable. This is the narrative of Prey. Arcane Studios released Prey into a world that didn't understand it back in 2017. It happened because of the confusion fueled by two distinct IPs, Prey 2017 and Prey 2006, that came together under the same name. Prey 2017 was neither a reboot nor a sequel of the game people remembered back in 2006. Beneath the confusion, there was a remarkable immersive sim, arguably one of the best of the last decade, but unfortunately, back then, its essence to the general gaming public was lost, only to be regained throughout the years, finally accomplishing the recognition it truly deserved. Today we're diving into what Prey really is, and why it might be one of the most interesting games you might have never played. We will uncover the aspects that make this game unique and the details that led to its initial obscurity. Hi, my name is Adrian, and this is Of Game and Frame. Let's begin. It's March 15th, 2032, the day of the catastrophic typhoon containment bridge, and this is where we start. Morgan Yu, son of William Yu, the founder of the TranStar Corporation, a company that functions in the field of science, space exploration, that conducts its research on a space station called Talos 1. Our character prepares to leave for an intra-orbital mission. We wake up in a sleek, modern apartment in a city highly resembling San Francisco. Then we receive a call. It's from Alex Yu, Morgan's eldest brother. We are briefed on what we have to do. We take the elevator to the rooftop. After, we board a TranStar helicopter. The city unfolds below us in a cinematic ride, one which sets the right mood for the whole playthrough. When we arrive at the TranStar HQ, Alex greets us and cheers before the test initiates. We enter the test rooms. Dr. Bellamy and his assistants, the scientists that will conduct our test, welcome us. We are guided through a series of physical and psychological tests. We press buttons, hide behind furniture, run and climb over, move things out of their places. Nothing hot, but the scientists seem confused. Their reactions indicate that something isn't quite right. During the psychological test, something inexplicable happens. A cup suddenly appears right after Dr. Bellamy asked one of the assistants to bring him a cup of coffee. We notice it with our peripheral vision. When Dr. Bellamy grabs the cup, it suddenly transforms into an amorphous creature that in an instant suffocates him. Chaos erupts. Alarms sound, and we are sedated, only hearing the echoes of the conversation between Alex and security personnel, before fading to black. We wake up again. Same day, same apartment, but something is wrong. We know that. The maintenance worker outside of the apartment is dead. The inbox is full of messages warning us of danger. We grab the first tool that is available, a wrench, and almost instinctively we feel the urge to smash the glass with it. A hit. Glass shatters, and we find ourselves inside of a lab. The entire apartment, the helicopter ride, and even the skyline were all parts of a controlled simulation. We are contacted by January, an operator that sent earlier the warning emails. He tells us that we need to get out. We learn that the station is overrun by a hostile alien species, Typhon, and that their containment has failed. January says the only way for us to survive is by following the instructions left by Morgan Yu, by us, which are saved in our office computer. Getting there is our objective now. We navigate our way out of the ruined simulation lab into the Neuromod division. Along the way, we arm ourselves with tools. The first versatile weapon we obtain is the glue gun, which sprays fast-hardening foam that can be used to immobilize enemies, create alternate vertical paths, extinguish fire, or any other environmental hazards. Along our mission path, we find personal logs, emails, and terminals. They all shed bits of information on what really happened on board Talos 1, and specifically what was conducted in the facility that seemed to be our apartment. The tests, the helicopter, it all happened numerous times. They were done repeatedly, the same day reset multiple times, on purpose. Soon enough we reach Talos 1 lobby. We are on a space station. The lobby is massive and it shows the true scale of how big the station is, but suddenly an explosion happens. The station's walls are shaken. We must hurry to our office. This is the best part for me to explain the timeline we found ourselves in. The events that happened just not so long ago are anchored in an alternate historical setting where the assassination attempt against JFK failed. This event led JFK to be re-elected for second term, prolonging the effort of space program. This is visually represented in the lobby room that shows station development cycles with brief description of each one. In 1958, Soviet Union made contact with an alien species, later called the Typhon, amorphous creatures that showed high adaptability and psionic powers capable of consuming and imitating biological and inanimate matter. Recognizing the threat, both the United States and the Soviet Union, despite their ideological differences, began collaborating on a top-secret orbital research and containment facility. This joint venture leads to the construction of the Klatka station, designed to capture, study, and contain the Typhon. As the intensive research began on Typhon to discover what such alien species are capable of. During the research, despite high security measures, Typhon managed to break out, eliminating all station's personnel. After a series of failures, the program is abandoned and station is shut. The Cold War eventually falls. The Klatka station, along with its invaluable, albeit dangerous research, is acquired by TranStar Corporation. Founded by the visionary but ethically ambiguous William Yu, TranStar perceives Typhon not as a threat, but as an unparalleled opportunity. Under TranStar's immense resources, guided by the Williams Yu vision, the Klatka station is massively expanded and transformed into Talos 1. It became a sprawling, luxurious, self-sufficient and technologically advanced space station. But beneath this mask, TranStar conducted research aimed at extracting Typhon material, capturing aliens' abilities in an attempt to transfer them to humans. This leads to the biggest TranStar science and technological breakthrough, Neuromod. It became TranStar's revolutionary flagship product. A Neuromod is a sophisticated neural implant that allows individual to instantly acquire new skills, knowledge, and even physical abilities by integrating refined Typhon material directly into the human brain. While marketed as a tool for accelerating human potential and productivity, the dark side is later revealed. Neuromod removal caused significant memory degradation and potential personality drift if applied numerous times. This is what precisely happened to our character, Morgan Yu. He was undergoing extensive testing involving neuromods. By the end of each test, neuromods were removed, rendering back all his memories anew. This explains why we don't remember anything, as well as our mysterious message waiting us in our office. We reach the office, enable the looking glass, and watch the video recorded by Morgan to Morgan. But this Morgan is from the past. He tells us that Alex's actions were the cause of Typhon outbreak. Unsafe experiments with Typhon led to this breach. But before Morgan Yu tells us what exactly we have to do, connection is severed. Alex calls and asks us to wait there in our office. He will fix the whole situation and then he will contact us. January informs that in order to restore connection, we need to go to hardware labs where the servers are located. Our next objective is set. The hardware lab is the place where the unexpected explosion happened, right when we enter the lobby. This place serves as the storage of engineering materials and devices that were used for various researches. Eventually, we managed to get access to server by finding the corpse of the lead engineer responsible for Looking Glass Tech in the first place, Dr. Calvino, outside of the station. His keycard opens the door to his office, where we restore server connection. After that, we get back to Morgan's office. We watch the remaining part of the message. Our main task is this: destruction of Talos 1 and everything on board. no survivors, as mimics can transform into inanimate matter and attach to humans. Therefore, if one single cell reaches Earth, everything is lost. For this, we require arming keys to the station reactors. There are only 2 keys, one for Morgan, another for Alex. To retrieve our key, we need to get access to the deep storage compartment of the station that serves as server for all the station data, but the elevator to it is jammed. Something put it out of function. We have to take a detour through the logistics compartment of the station, but the only access to it lies through the most dangerous place, Psychotronics. Psychotronics is TranStar Alien Research Division. This is where Typhon was studied and recreated, and this is where they initially broke out. We discover gruesome testing logs and containment chambers while going through it, where humans, sometimes unwillingly, were exposed to Typhon. In this area, we acquire the Psychoscope, a tool that allows us to scan Typhon. The more we scan, the more alien abilities become available, granting more power, but also changing our biology into one of a mimic, making automated defenses on the station see us as a threat. Through Psychotronics, we enter the tunnel that serves as logistics, supplying gas, water, oxygen through the station. Once we cross the Guts, the name of the tunnel, we reach the Arboretum, compartment of the station that served as a recreational space for Talos 1 personnel, as well as practical functions, having essential role in maintaining the ecosystem of the station, including the oxygen purification. In Arboretum, we also meet a new type of Typhon organism called Nightmare. There are no logs, no research details on this particular Typhon, which hints at the fact that it appeared not too long ago. Later on, we discover that this Typhon only hunts Morgan, a clear indication that Typhon considers Morgan as a threat. Through Arboretum, we can get inside of deep storage compartment, but it is locked with a voice lock, and the one that set it was Danielle Shaw, cybersecurity officer at the station. As we cannot find Danielle, assuming that she's already dead, we have to synthesize her voice, a plan suggested by January, as his voice was also sampled for Morgan's real one. For this, we need to head inside of the crew quarters and search for all the available audio logs of Danielle. Inside of crew quarters, we will meet survivors that are under control of a very dangerous type of Typhon, a telepath. A Typhon that, according to research logs, was impossible to study as it would take control over scientists' minds, making personnel attack each other. A side quest will also emerge that involves an imposter, someone that claims to be the cook of the station, Will Mitchell. If we find the audio log inside of security terminal before encountering the imposter, early on we will find out who Will Mitchell really is. We can choose to follow this quest, and at the end of it, the imposter will try to freeze us inside of a refrigerator. We will manage to survive, and we will find the bodies of Talos 1 personnel that were killed by the false cook. Among them will be the body of Danielle's partner, Abigail Foe. She carries an audio log with the coordinates of Danielle's location as well as the code to call her as she is outside of the station. Once we get to the gym and signaling the code, Danielle will appear. She will understand what happened with Abigail, giving the voice password and asking us a favor in return, to find and deal with the imposter. Throughout our whole playthrough, if we decided to follow the quest line, the imposter will contact us numerous times, telling his disturbing thoughts on how Typhon interfered with his mind and how something else tries to enter his mental space, hinting at a bigger threat. He was a volunteer to TranStar Research throughout multiple tests, including direct Typhon exposure. This explains his frantic thoughts. The imposter will also leave behind multiple traps made of recycled charges on elevators, fabricators, making the already careful playthrough that requires attention and frugal resource management a degree more demanding. With the Danielle's voice sample, we head inside of the deep storage, but Alex seals all the doors in and out. He says that he will fix it all for us and reveals that he doesn't recognize us anymore, our current actions. We head straight to retrieve the schematics for our arming key, stored in the archive, but first we have to put back the drives with data into server slots. On Danielle's show's terminal, we download the schematics. Now we can fabricate the key. We are half prepared to blow up the station. All that is left to retrieve is Alex's arming key, but first we need to find a way out. Danielle's show offers us help to escape deep storage through a drive compartment that can be detached into the outer space. Upon detaching, the zero-G and the turbulence created propels a hard drive directly in our face, knocking us out. We wake up again. Now we are outside of Talos 1, but all the airlocks are sealed. An explosion that occurred inside of cargo bay opened a way in. Near the entry, we encounter another side quest. There is a cargo container with a survivor inside. It's Dr. Igwe, one of the scientists that assisted Morgan during the Typhon research. We have the option of helping him, leave him be until oxygen runs out, or we can open up the container. The choice is ours. Through his container, we will get back inside the station. Once inside of cargo bay, we are asked by Chief Security Officer Sarah Elazar to assist her and the rest of survivors in neutralizing all the Typhon that soon will try to break into the last remaining safe zone of the station. For this, we have to gather auto turrets and place them at the entrance of B section of the bay. Once we find all the turrets or fabricate them, we commence the operation. Doors open and Typhon tries to break through our lines. We stand our ground and succeed in eliminating all the Typhon. The remaining personnel of station is safe for now. But time doesn't wait. We have to unlock the station back again. For this, we need to research the station. Now our objective is the reactor core, located inside of life support compartment. While on the way to get there, we encounter another survivor, Michaela Illusion. She is the ex-girlfriend of Morgan and the only personnel member on the station with neural conditions, making her unable to use neuromodes. It's called paraplexis. Because of her worsening conditions, soon her lungs will cease to function. We need to find her medications that are in her office that was hull-breached. We have another choice to make. Once we get the medications and deliver it to her, the symptoms will be eased. Michaela will then make her way to our office. Through the gravity elevator, we reach the reactor core. We have to reset the systems powering the station. Once we do that, doors will unlock. Inside of reactor core, we find the arming terminal with 2 slots for 2 arming keys. At this stage, we can insert our key and prepare for blowing up the station. Alex calls and he praises our ingenuity. Now he will meet with us, but this time, no more hiding. He wants to tell us all the truth. When we get inside of Alex's office, he is nowhere to be found. Instead, he left us a video of him and Morgan prior to his participation in the experiments and numerous neuromod removals. We find that Morgan Yu was the one that conducted the whole research from the beginning. He was the ideology driver behind the morally ambiguous trials that numerous volunteers went through, justifying the cost with the potential benefits, new abilities for humans, even immortality. Now we know it wasn't Alex the only one doing all the experiments. Both brothers were involved. Morgan strongly believed that the only way to propel humans onto a new evolution step was only through the integration of Typhons inside of humans. Morgan talks about an unfinished null-wave device that can neutralize mimics in case of a potential Typhon outbreak, as destruction of station would not solve anything. The development of such device was supported by the research of coral, a golden weaving tissue that is produced by weavers. Morgan suspected it to be a neural system of Typhon, but externalized. This completely changes our perspective on Morgan's original personality. Prior to his psyche derailing, he was utilitarian, motivated to accomplish his mission no matter the cost. During our playthrough, we found different notes and logs on how research was conducted, how test subjects were literally sacrificed to mimics in order to produce Typhon material. One such subject was Michaela's Illusion's father. If we save her in the reactor core, later on she will ask us to retrieve her father's logs. It's up to us to decide if we want to disclose the harsh truth of Morgan's past. Now, being so far into the plot, different paths start to emerge. Alex asks us to finish the research of the coral. For this, we need to scan what seems to be the heart of it, located outside of the station. We agree, as Alex promises us his arming key, but he doubts that we will use it. January attempts to convince us of following its directives, as it doesn't matter which Morgan Yu has the right to be called the original one, the later or the former. Mimics pose existential threat to humanity, and by destroying Talos 1, Typhon spread will be contained. Once we complete scanning the coral, Alex calls us and notifies that a shuttle launched from Earth is headed towards Talos 1. TriStar board has decided to step in and contain the outbreak themselves. We hurry to Alex's office to upload the data. Half of it is already transformed when the connection is disrupted. Talos 1 systems are hijacked. We have got intruders. Walter Dog Doll makes a call through the whole station, telling that the board of TranStar dismissed Alex and that all the personnel should send their location for evac. Of course, it's all a cover-up. We head to the shuttle bay, where we get inside of Doll's shuttle. By hacking into his email, we find details of his true mission. William Yu himself approved Doll's directives. He has to contain the Typhon outbreak using military-grade operators, and he also has to neutralize all survivors, including Morgan and Alex. The priority is to secure all assets of TranStar on Talos 1. Throughout this encounter, we will race against the clock. Doll will try to lure us via sending false distress messages from survivors. One such survivor will call for help from Trauma Center, and if we were attentive while being in that area, we will understand right away that there were no survivors at all. It's a trap. Doll will also send operators to attack us by tracking our location through the ID bracelet. We have the option of turning it down from deep storage, then we will be off his radar. In a desperate attempt to lure us, Doll will shut down all life support of the station. We have limited time to stop him. For this, we need to end his direct control over the station systems that he manages through his operator, Caspar. Its location will be disclosed in the audio log from his email. Here, we have another choice to make, either to save the remaining personnel or directly apprehend Doll. After we deal with Caspar, Doll will run towards Arboretum. He knows where Alex is. There is little time. Doll tries to hack into the door controls of Alex's hideout. We need to stop him, and again, we have a choice to make. We can either neutralize Doll non-lethally, and this will enable the only option for the crew to evacuate. We need to understand who Doll is. He is a violent mercenary that enjoys installing and removing neuromods. Once he accomplishes his missions, he is fascinated by the idea of not knowing what he has done to receive big payments. But precisely because of this habit of removing neuromods, he has old versions of them that provide abilities which are not affected by continuous neuromods removal. And by eliminating the neuromods, we'll be able to reset his memory while keeping his skills intact. And such skill, which is piloting the shuttle, will help survivors to evacuate from the station. Or we can kill Doll, eliminating the only chance of survival for the crew. Once we choose how to act with Doll, we can finally meet Alex. He tells us about Morgan's theory, which proves to be right. Coral is indeed an external neural structure that communicates, and all this time it was emitting a signal outwards. In a blink of a moment, space erupts and distorts. From the rapture, a huge typhon emerges. It's nothing like we've ever seen before. Massive, bigger than the whole Talos 1, and right away, this typhon wraps around the station. The direct impact of its mass disrupts the artificial gravity system in the Arboretum. Alex passes out. Here we have the option of saving him or simply letting him drift away. If we save him, he will show gratitude and continue to guide us in the attempt to create the nullwave device. Now the options are clear. We either destroy the station or we try to neutralize the typhon. To neutralize the typhon, we head inside of Psychotronics and install the experimental device on the coral that formed initially since the first contact of 1958. This will enable the option of typhon neutralization. We can also go to life support and inside of the reactor core, insert the last arming key. This will enable the option of Talos 1 destruction. Regardless of which option we pick, we will end the typhon crisis. But what doesn't end is the aftermath of the story. We awaken again, with hands bound in a seemingly dilapidated chamber. We are confronted by Alex Yu and 4 operators who speak with the voices of key characters Morgan encountered throughout the game: Dr. Igwe, Michaela Illusion, Sarah Elza, and Danielle Shaw. Alex reveals that all we experienced was Morgan's memories of Talos 1 and that all our actions and decisions were played in a simulation. Earth is lost. Humanity is at the brink of extinction. What we had to experience is the final resort to save humanity. We are not a human. We are a mimic fused with human biology in an attempt to recreate human empathy in a species that simply lacks this variability. Mimics are not evil by design. They don't act violently because they want to. It's because they can't do otherwise, as they don't see humans, literally don't see. This is an attempt to make humans known to Typhon. Operators will try to give a psyche assessment from the standpoint of human regarding our actions during the game. If we behaved in a human-like way, operators would notice our empathetic actions or how we acted otherwise. If we chose to disregard the survivors on Talos 1, that will also be noted. The choice is once again given to us. We either take Alex's hand or kill Alex and the operators. Alex extends his hand to the Typhon Morgan, asking us to take it as a sign of the newly acquired empathy and willingness to cooperate. This signifies that the experiment has been successful. This path offers a fragile hope for humanity's future, suggesting that perhaps a new form of life, one that blends human consciousness with Typhon adaptability, could emerge and lead to a solution for the ravaged Earth. If the player chooses to attack Alex and the operators, it means the end for humans. This is the story of Prey, unique and non-trivial. A story that begins with a beautiful setup that is then completely shattered, only to reveal something totally and absolutely distinct. Prey plays with our expectations, first at the beginning, then at the end, but it does it in a way that feels non-cliché. In fact, it builds expectations only to break them, to impress and add a new level of complexity, a new level of dimension to the dilemma treated. Throughout the playthrough, we encountered numerous situations that involved choices to either help or neglect. This was a test of our empathy, a way to see if the mimic that we play as can develop such human ability. We as players have the freedom to decide how to proceed. The game will adapt to our actions without popping mission failed menus and loading screens. This is a key characteristic of an immersive sim. It creates systems of characters and environment where we can interact with both however we want, without restrictions. We can solve different quests however we see fit inside of this game space that lifts the limits of in-game situations. Rather than guiding us down a single path, Prey presents an open space station filled with daily threats and countless ways of dealing with them, asking directly, how will we handle this? Every locked door, every obstacle, and every enemy encounter in Prey is an opportunity to think, invent, and experiment. The world of Talos 1 is open and reactive. The player is rarely told directly how to do something. Instead, systems are introduced and left open for manipulation. For any given problem, we have multiple valid solutions. A sealed room can be hacked, opened via the terminal controls, skipped entirely by stacking objects or creating a glue gun staircase, bypassed by using Typhon powers like mimicry to slip through cracks as a small object, or simply open by code if we find a node with it. Enemies can be avoided completely via stealth or alternate routes, immobilized by foam, and then melee finished, turned against each other using psionic abilities, or crushed using environmental hazards like explosive canister or electric traps. The glue gun is the signature tool of Prey. It rewrites how we interact with the environment. What makes it so brilliant? In combat, it freezes enemies, holds them in place for easy kills or escape. In traversal, it builds stairs and climb surfaces anywhere. As utility, it seals fire hazards, gas leaks, electrical arcs, creating safe passageways. The glue gun embodies Prey's freedom. It's not a weapon, it's a possibility machine. Prey deliberately downplays traditional shooter mechanics. Guns exist, but they are clunky. Ammo is scarce, and especially at the beginning. But as we acquire more resources, find various weapons and upgrade kits, we will gear up and become more powerful to engage in direct combat. Neuromods are the heart of player progression, unlocking various abilities, such as human abilities and Typhon abilities. Human skill trees include hacking, suit upgrades, more inventory space, combat upgrades, guns upgrades. We can also invest into Typhon abilities that are gradually unlocked by scanning enemies with the psychoscope. Everything we find and pick in our inventory, whether trash, food, broken tech, can be recycled into raw materials via recycling machines. This creates a very interesting system of resources cycle inside of the game, because pretty much every inventoriable object can be recycled into prime resource materials and used in crafting to create ammo, health kits, neuromods, weapons, everything that you need to survive. This motivates us to look for available resources. Scavenging is essential. To survive, we need to explore. Inventory space is limited. Careful management of what we carry is a part of the challenge, especially at the beginning of the game. Let's talk about the enemy Typhon that we encounter throughout the game. The Typhon are unpredictable. We have mimics that hide as everyday objects, a cup, a chair, a medkit. They represent the main paranoia-inducing factor throughout our playthrough, because we cannot know for sure if an object is a mimic or not. We have to test it with a wrench, and even then, we have a brief moment to counterattack a hidden mimic once it reveals itself. Phantoms, they are fast, deadly. They emit psychic attacks. They vary in elemental damage types. We have thermal, electric, etheric. Nightmare is massive, a predator that hunts us if we use too many alien powers, triggering flight or panic combat. Later in the game, we will have a small quest to install an antenna on a satellite revolving around the Talos 1. By installing the antenna, January will offer us an audio log with 4 uses. We can use it to either scare away or attract the nightmare. Technopaths and telepaths, they control machines and humans. Poltergeist, a mimic that failed the phantom evolution process. It's mostly invisible to us and uses telekinesis, but when it uses its abilities, only then, for a brief moment, it becomes visible. Then we can attack it. Weavers cause fear status, which makes us lose control over Morgan. It also spans cystoids that we can easily counterattack via pistol or glue gun. The weavers can be easily taken out from distance. Fighting head-on is rarely wise. Outsmarting and outmaneuvering enemies is preferable, especially at the beginning. But as we progress and unlock more abilities, we will be able to counter Typhon much easier, and by learning combat approaches to each mimic, we will be able to easily deal with them, regardless of our game difficulty level. Mimics are much easier to deal with, using powerful wrench hits, especially when we have upgraded our DPS on wrench. Flying Typhon can be easily dealt with when inside of the station if we get closer and then use glue gun on them. The foam will immobilize them, sending them down, and the fall damage will take care of the rest. Overall, Prey 2017 isn't about firepower, it's about creativity. Every part of its design, from neuromods to recycling to the glue gun, is built to make us solve problems our way. The player is the author of their own survival, a rare joy in modern gaming. And in the world of Prey, we are never told how to do things specifically. We have to figure it out on our own. Despite the critical acclaim and acquired status of a classic, back then when Prey was released, the general public was divided in opinion, and it all had to do mostly with the identity issue of 2 distinct IPs that shared the same brand name. It's crucial to understand that Arcane's Prey 2017 is a completely different game, sharing only the name with the original Prey 2006. Let's have a look at the initial IP, Prey 2006, and how it was developed. Prey 2006, developed by Arcane Studios and published by 2K Games, was a first-person shooter known for its innovative portal mechanics and gravity walking gameplay. Prey 2, sequel that later on got cancelled, was developed by Arcane Studios and later picked up for publishing by Bethesda Softworks. Prey 2 was envisioned as a different game, an open-world sci-fi bounty hunter adventure. It gained a lot of hype for its ambitious concept and intriguing trailers. However, Prey 2 faced significant development issues, reportedly due to disagreements between Human Head and Bethesda regarding the game's direction and quality. Ultimately, Bethesda officially cancelled Prey in 2014, stating it was not meeting our quality standards. This left Prey's IP in limbo, but under Bethesda's ownership. In 2014, with Prey 2 officially cancelled, Bethesda tasked their acclaimed studio, Arcane Studios, specifically the Austin with support from Lyon, France, to develop a new game using the Prey name. Arcane didn't want to make a direct sequel or even a similar game to the 2006 Prey. Instead, they aimed to create a spiritual successor to classic immersive sims like System Shock, System Shock 2, Arx Fatalis, Arcane's debut title. Their goal was to build a rich, interconnected world with deep systems, player freedom, and environmental storytelling, characteristics that define the immersive genre. The idea of an alternate timeline where JFK survived and massively invested in space program was an early concept, allowing for a unique sci-fi setting, grounded in contemporary timeline, distinct from typical space opera that shows futuristic settings. A core idea from early on was the concept of shape-shifting enemies, the mimics, that could disguise themselves as ordinary objects. This directly inspired the pervasive sense of paranoia that defines the game's opening hours. While not a direct influence, BioShock, which itself drew heavily from System Shock, can can be seen in Prey's fusion of psychological horror, sci-fi setting, and character progression through special abilities. However, Colantonio specifically cited System Shock and Arx Fatalis as the primary influences, emphasizing open-ended problem-solving over more linear narrative progression. The art direction for Talos 1 was heavily influenced by 1960s and 70s retrofuturism, particularly the Art Deco style, which was adopted and transformed inside of the game into Neo-Deco. This gives the station a unique, luxurious, yet unsettling aesthetic, blending opulence with brutalist and functional elements from its past, showing up in the design of the Klatka station. The process of development was not an easy one. The range of issues that the team had to deal with was directly proportional to the level of interactivity that they wanted to offer players, hence more testing and more debugging. Prey was developed using CryEngine, which was a significant technical undertaking for Arcane. While visually impressive, CryEngine is known for its complexity, and the team reportedly faced challenges adapting it to their specific needs for an immersive sim with highly interactive environments. Designing Talos 1 as a single, interconnected, non-linear space station was a monumental task. The level designers and environment artists worked to create a believable, functional space that allowed for multiple routes, hidden paths, and immersive gameplay opportunities. This involved intricate planning for verticality, zero-gravity traversal, and the logical flow of systems. The design of the Typhon aliens was crucial. Arcane wanted them to be truly alien, something mysterious that doesn't resemble our biology. They aimed for a more paranormal or supernatural approach, resulting in the unsettling, ethereal, and often grotesque forms of the mimics, phantoms, weavers, and others. The sounds of the Typhon they make and the way they transform were meticulously crafted to enhance the psychological horror. The decision to use the Prey name caused some confusion and even backlash from fans of the original Prey 2006. Arcane and Bethesda had to repeatedly clarify that this was a new game, not a continuation. Colantonio himself later expressed regret over the name choice, stating it was a marketing decision and not his preference, as it caused unnecessary confusion and disappointment to fans expecting a sequel. The game received strong critical acclaim, praised for its immersive sim design, engaging gameplay, atmospheric world, deep narrative, and unique identity. It was often highlighted as a return to form for the immersive sim genre. While critically praised, Prey sales were reportedly not as strong as some of Bethesda's other titles. In 2008, Arcane released Prey Mooncrash, a significant story DLC that introduced roguelike elements. This expansion was well received for its replayability and for creatively recontextualizing the more mechanics of the main game. Despite its initial sales, Prey 2017 has gotten a dedicated cult following and is widely regarded as one of the best immersive sims of the generation, continuing to be celebrated for its intricate design and thought-provoking narrative. It cemented Arcane's reputation as a master of the genre. After almost 10 years since the release of Prey, the community of players gathered by the game is still eager for a continuation. The story of Prey is not yet finished. In Mooncrash DLC, we find out how Typhon got to Earth, but what exactly happened afterwards, or what exactly happened right after the end of the main Prey story, remains to be told. How did the two distinct species evolve? How was the conflict resolved? The live interest is still on, and gamers, including me, would love to receive more, but unfortunately this remains an option far on the horizon. In 2024, Xbox closed Arcane Studios, the studio that conceptualized and developed Prey. The decision of Xbox drew comments from the former game designer at Arcane that was behind Prey development, Rafael Colantonio. He said the decision of closure was not a good one, that it was a mistake in terms of creative potential and long-term success. He also noted creating the unique team dynamic and culture that existed at Arcane Austin will be difficult, even impossible. Colantonio departed from Arcane Austin in 2017, right after the release of Prey. What served as the main reason for Arcane's Austin closure can only be speculated. In May 2023, Arcane released Redfall, a first-person shooter with open-world elements. The game was not received well. It had lots of issues ranging from gameplay bugs to graphic issues. The world world was empty, it didn't have an endgame structure that would conclude players' playthrough. But this game's issues stemmed from high staff turnover, unclear direction, small team size that simply couldn't fulfill the original ambition. In the end, the game felt unfinished and rushed. Now there's only Arcane Leon, which at the moment is focused on developing a game about Marvel's Blade, which is set to take place in Paris. It will be a single-player, third-person action-adventure game. Clearly the efforts at the moment are all into another IP. The question is, will there ever be a new part on Prey? The answer to that depends solely on the outcome of Blade's release. Such title is undoubtedly tied to some serious revenue figures that Xbox wants to see. But even if a prequel or sequel on Prey is distant, the philosophy or Arcane still exists. This studio simply cannot make anything that is less challenging than an immersive sim, whether it's someone else's IP or their proprietary ones. And if their future IP promises to settle deep into immersivity, offering the same range of gameplay choices, complex topics, environmental storytelling, then it'll be a worthy game to play and experience. It's been quite a long recap of Prey. I wanted to cover all the details in a concise way, offering a general picture of what happened and what to expect in the future. Thank you for watching. If you find this material interesting and would like to see more in the future, consider subscribing, hitting the like button, leaving a comment down below. I will gladly read them and respond.